3, 2, 1. White Claw Wednesday, episode 25. Ooh, man.
Let me get this one right in the mic.
Cheers.
Dude, I was thinking today. Cheers up. I was thinking today, like, I was just driving and I was thinking about the podcast and I was thinking about, like, how we don't really, like, have an intro or anything like that. And I was like, what if we, like, put together a montage of, like, the beginning of every episode where it's like, and we're always like,
oh yeah, like a where we put it like going like playing all the different yeah.
And then I have Amanda do something like White Claw Wednesday or something like that, you know. How fire would that be?
That would be pretty cool.
I'll see if
cool.
I can do that.
Yeah.
So welcome back, everyone.
We've definitely done enough intros to where you can do that.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely have. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe.
Oh yeah, if you're watching and you haven't subscribed and you happen to be logged into a YouTube account,
Yeah.
click subscribe, you know?
Or if you're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever.
I think it took us 25 episodes to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so
sorry, it happened.
We're gonna try and I guess do that in the beginning because our views are going up, but our subscriber count isn't.
Well, we're at 20 subscribers right now on our YouTube channel.
Oh, right on.
I don't know about our subscribers on.
No,
do you subscribe on Spotify and Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, you do.
You do? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I thought. Because I think I'm. Yeah.
We actually get consistent views on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well.
We do. Okay, because
yeah,
I never check those. Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But our main platform is definitely YouTube.
Okay.
Anyways, what's up, man?
Well. You texted me saying.
I did.
Actually, I have a couple questions. First of all, you texted me last night saying, "Hey, can you do a huge favor for me?"
Oh yeah.
And I said, "What's up?" And then
we'll have to.
Is that a?
We'll have to talk about that after.
Okay, that's an off-air thing.
But I tell you what, for everyone who's like, "Wow, that's fucked up," next episode
we'll reveal
what the favor was.
Okay. So, but you did text me about coronavirus.
I did.
And
I did.
Exactly what I thought was going to happen happened. And that was...
And you predicted it, man. I mean, we all kind of predicted it.
We talked about the resurgence coming in either, about end of June, beginning of July. And that exact thing is happening now. And I thought this was going to happen when people weren't able to be patient enough and just try to reopen quickly and some people, not believing in the whole mask thing and and not believing that the virus is real or that kind of thing has put us back here. And I saw a headline today saying Fauci says that
100,000
cases in a day.
Yeah.
Like that will happen
100,000
soon.
new cases.
Yeah.
So,
which is but now the United States is just blowing past everybody in terms of
new cases,
right?
Yeah.
Which to me makes sense. Because in a way this virus has kind of taken away our freedoms in a way.
Oh, for sure. A lot of our civil liberties were taken away.
And America's like all about freedom.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me that we're at this point in the run of the virus that we have the most cases because we're all about freedom.
It has I like that you said that because it has a lot to do with our short history in that we were like one of the first but the most prominent nation to sort of try this freedom, capitalism, democracy, type of governing without a king or queen, like we don't have a monarchy, know?
Exactly.
And so it's very much about like the core of our nation is very much about our civil liberties and how, we seceded from England and because of all these, kind of similar to what's happening now. It's like these rules and, I guess it was more taxes back then, but yeah, I mean, I wanted to bring it up again because for those hardcore listeners out there, we've had a coronavirus episode.
We've had a couple.
We've had coronavirus 2. Yeah. Right. And then we've obviously just sort of discussed it, periodically
off and on.
because you can't get away from it.
And I think we did a things to do in quarantine episode.
So we've basically done 3 so far.
Yeah.
And then now this is going to be coronavirus 3 essentially. Because we're back in the thick of things, man. Like it kind of, we did flatten the curve. In fact, we lowered the curve. Like it spiked, then it went down, even when we were testing a lot more, right? Here's the curve for you, right? Goes up, it goes up, it goes up, hard down, kind of. It's almost like a beer belly, but opposite, like going down, right? Picture like a fat man laying on top of the curve and just pushing the beer belly down.
I see what you mean.
And now we're right at his chest, And so we're actually worse than we were before. And so this is the height. We are at the height of the coronavirus in the United States. And it's only going up because people don't give a fuck, bro, And I mean, I get it. Like, I totally get it. Like, I'm fucking tired of doing this. I'm tired of the coronavirus. I'm tired of worrying about it every day. Like, I don't even... Like, opening up my phone now is just, like, so toxic. It's just like, ugh, do I really want to do this to myself? Like, and
yeah.
I was actually talking to my barber today, my barber from down here. And
you got a haircut?
I did get a haircut, yeah, for the first time.
Okay, well, so he cleaned up the sides.
Yeah, he cleaned up the sides.
He kept the curls on the top.
Yeah, he kept the length. I'm trying to keep the length. I don't know what I'm doing, dude.
You know what's funny is like your hair right now is
It doesn't look good.
No, that's not what I was gonna say. I was gonna say it's
a great cut.
It's very similar to Mike Studd's new look.
Oh, does he like part it down the middle or something kind of like that?
No, not necessarily. But dude, he's got the curls on top now.
Well, dude, if I put it to the front, which I have been doing, like I can get real curly going.
Oh, and if you don't know who Mike Studd is, then look him up and just.
What's one of his good songs right now? What was one of his good songs back in high school when we were listening to him?
Closer was one that we used to like.
Closer.
This one's for you. Summertime feeling.
Anyways.
Yeah.
I did get a haircut today.
Mike Jordan.
He was really nice about it.
Yeah.
I had to wear a mask the entire time. Even when he's like kind of getting down here, I was like, "Do you want me to just peel it off?" He's like, "No, keep it on."
Keep that shit on.
And I kind of lost my train of thought, but basically he was like telling me these things about coronavirus. How, like, yeah, it's frustrating that people don't want to do their part and put on their mask and. If you're going to a bar, put on your mask. If you're doing this, put on a mask. Like, and even like a person came in as I was getting my cut, and he didn't have a mask on.
Yeah.
And my barber was like, "Hey, you got to get your mask." And but at the same time, it's like I do respect people who are like, "Fuck that! You can't tell me what to do." Like I do respect that. Like I do because, like, who are we to say like you have to wear a mask? Like
here's my only thing.
Yeah.
I get that. I get why you say like, oh, it means you don't give a fuck. Like I get that. But at the same time, like
phrasing it.
But it is not a bad way to phrase it because it's the right way to phrase it because at this point, if you're like going into a business where there's obviously more than likely a sign already on the front that says face mask required.
Yeah.
And you walk in there without a face mask.
Yeah.
The statement is very much so, I don't give a fuck. Because not only you're saying, I don't give a fuck about, like,
myself.
I do what I want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, bring it on. Like, I'm tough. But you're also saying, I don't give a fuck about any other human in the world right now. Which, if you're willing to be powerful enough in that statement, okay. But you really are. It's the ultimate. I don't give a fuck because it's more than just. Oh, I'm rolling the dice on myself, but you're also like rolling the dice on everybody else because it's a virus that can travel in someone and that the person who's carrying it, doesn't feel it at all, but can give it to someone else.
Right.
So there's and then there's just general germs in general. Like you could have a germ that maybe you don't have the virus, but that germ passing it into that person and it becomes the virus in them, whatever.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is you really it's really a statement of like, I don't give a fuck about you either. And to me, like, that's a good attitude to have when you're like thinking of like, oh, what does that person think of me?
Okay.
Like if you go to do something you want to get, like you order something and you're worried about like the server's face when you say hold the blank. This is just a random example, but you're like hold the pickles, the pickles, and you're being extra or something like and you're scared about it. You're like, oh, I don't want them to judge me. Like those are the moments where you want to be like,
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Like fuck you. I don't care. Like, but when it comes to like viruses when it comes to a virus that has spread and just caused the world to change and taken so many lives, when it's something as serious as that, you don't want to be outward with your I don't give a fuck about you. Like it's just an easy way to just like be hated.
It's also an easy way to neglect the problem, right? Like you're just like sort of being like, man, it's not a big deal. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
And like that's, again, I respect it. I do. But, I'm reading a lot of these stories where like,
I'm not telling people not to do what I just said, which is going into a place without a mask.
Yeah,
it says face mask required.
Don't be the guy that says fuck you, basically is what you're saying.
Well, no, I'm just saying be aware that you're saying fuck you on the grandest scale. Understand.
Like it's much bigger than like a regular fuck you.
It's much bigger than a fuck you of just like, oh, I'm indestructible.
I get what you're saying.
You're also saying, hey, I hope everybody else is indestructible.
Yeah, these are different times. And the magnitude of the situation is much higher.
Yeah.
And especially when it can come back to haunt you, and like your family.
And when it's something so easy as like this business is staying open for you to use in this time, and the least you can do is just put on a piece of cloth around your face.
I'm so glad you said that, because like especially with these small businesses, like dude, Riverside had to close their bars again.
Oh yeah, did you get the Amber Alert? Yeah, the burr this afternoon
Riverside.
Amber Alert. Yeah,
and like apparently, I mean, Riverside's pretty bad right now.
Oh yeah,
really bad. We're the second worst county in the
that makes sense.
In the state.
We don't give a fuck here.
There's a lot of people who don't give a fuck.
We don't give a fuck here. Which is why.
But I'm glad you said that, because like now, like all those people who didn't give a fuck, and like you're going out and like you're not wearing your face mask, and like I'm hearing stories about people who are sick and then they're like, it's nothing, and they go out, and I'm just like, what are you doing?
It's a denial.
Now, you have situations where all these small businesses are hurting once again because these bars just got to open a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're just starting to get revenue. Maybe more people are coming in. They're like, okay, things are getting back to normal. Nope, we fucked up, people. We fucked up. We didn't do what we were supposed to do. Now, bars are closed. And it may even go further. It may even get to a point where it goes further, and we're back in shelter in place where literally nothing is open except for grocery stores and food places.
I think we're gonna be there again.
I think you're right.
I think we're gonna be there again. Possibly, I can see it coming in July sometime, maybe beginning of August. But I think that's gonna happen again. And it was also the second part of my prediction, and this prediction all came when I got the email from the president of San Francisco State back in April, saying fall 2020, it's going to be online.
Yeah.
And I remember I was saying like, wow, that's like, that's over 4 months in advance. But
Yeah.
then I thought of then I came up with the whole prediction of it.
Yeah.
The second wave coming in June/July, which will in turn lead to a second, stay-in-home order, which will hit probably around August, September, right around the beginning of fall semester.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying, President. It was just like all those ideas coming. So I just see that like reality becoming a thing.
Yeah, and I think it was emulated by not only the I don't give a fuck, but just like the massive uproar in this nation right now. Like
yes.
No one respects this government. Like I don't respect, like I would consider myself a centered leaning left individual. and so my government would be like the Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I wouldn't even trust him. Like I wouldn't trust Nancy Pelosi to save my life or anyone's life. I really wouldn't.
Yeah, dude.
It's just like a sad time to be an American right now, and it sucks. But and you know what? It's not going to go away, and we can get into this whole Joe Biden situation. But
yeah,
the DNC has fucked over the Democratic Party for two elections now.
Yeah.
2 elections now.
Yeah.
And I mean, Joe Biden might win because of this catastrophe of a situation in America right now.
With the way Trump is handling
it, he's blowing it. I mean,
he's blowing. He's basically like, you know what's interesting is he was skating 2017, 2018, 2019. Yeah. He just skated through those first 3 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, there obviously there were drastic mistakes.
There were some hiccups.
There were serious things done, but it felt like a skate where he was going to come in to his re-election campaign, with the same sort of strength he won his original election on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had very consistent polling numbers.
Exactly.
Like right around 50%.
But then you get into this the fourth and final year.
Yeah, now his numbers are dropping.
And it's just, like we've talked about, shit hitting the fan.
Yeah.
That's happened. And it's honestly, there couldn't be a worse president to have in a time as tough as now.
Well, you're absolutely right. Mark Cuban?
Yeah, Mark Cuban, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks.
The Mavs, yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He said it best. He goes, Donald Trump does not want to be president. Donald Trump wants to run a campaign. Like, he is a celebrity.
Yeah.
He is a celebrity. He's not a good president, okay? Being a celebrity, making jokes, roasting people, like, I can appreciate that. And I respect Donald Trump for roasting the fuck out of anyone that comes his way, right? But that does not qualify you to be a good president, right? Like, there needs to be a distinction here.
No.
And
you know what's crazy to think about?
Mark Cuban said, let me finish my point really quick.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Mark Cuban said, he was on Fox, and the guy on Fox was like, do you think that, Joe Biden is stable, coherent, like all these things that, like, people would be like,
a president should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But also Joe Biden's kind of iffy on that,
yeah.
Mark Cuban goes, yes, absolutely. Joe Biden wants to run the country. Donald Trump wants to run a campaign. Mm-hmm. And I think that's like phrased it so well because it's like so true. It's like Donald Trump really doesn't care about running the country. He just wants to do whatever makes him look good.
Whatever, yeah, gives his brand success and makes him money.
Exactly.
And keeps him trending and gives him attention. Cause
keeps him in the polls high.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Becoming president is a great way to have attention.
Yeah.
And it's funny to think about. The presidency is a job where there's just so much we don't know about it as regular people. Like details, government secrets, calls made, like life or death calls.
Yeah.
We just don't know about all that stuff. So, we sit here and we say, "Oh, Donald Trump is he's the worst president we've ever had."
Yeah.
But it's just on a surface level, he's the worst president.
Uh-huh.
What we see, what the public gets, we've never seen anything worse.
No.
And that's why we're able to say what we're able to say.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I just have this theory where the president doesn't do that much work.
Yeah.
What? This is just conspiracy. I'm being dumb. I don't know anything. Obviously, I don't know anything. But I just see it being confirmed with Donald Trump being able to be president for just, I don't know, nothing things. I don't know. I'm losing my trail here.
What Frank's trying to say is, I don't know if this is what you're
save me.
What
do you save me here?
But I will say, to piggyback off of you, is that the presidency is an impossible job. Like, no matter what you do in that position, no matter what you do,
good point.
You're going to be hated on. And in fact, someone's
going to hate you. Yeah.
Keeping public opinion on your favor, as in like this guy's doing a great job, you know, like having majority, not even majority, because we're so divided at this point, and we have been for the past like 8 years now. Keeping a 60% majority of the nation in your favor is extremely, extremely hard. And I don't even know if that's possible at this point. Like, I really don't. And even, not even just public opinion, but the job itself. It's like, you got one guy to do everything?
Yeah.
And, like, I mean, I don't care if Donald Trump's in the White House. I don't care who's in the White House. I feel so bad for them to have to handle the situation we're in right now.
I agree.
And, like, you know, you can say, and, like, I believe that Donald Trump has, you know, done things to make this situation worse that are blatantly obvious as, like, hey, man, like, you don't, like, are you serious right now? You know, like, you're really going to do that? Like, how do you think this is going to help this situation? But even if it wasn't him doing any of those things, I would still feel bad for him. Like, he could be out there doing the best that he could and making all the right decisions, and people would still hate on him. And that's why it's an impossible job, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think that you have to be, you know, this goes back on to a topic that, or something we talked about in the past, where I think you said something like, you have to be an idiot to be a president, but you can't be stupid. It was something along those lines. Like, you have to be an idiot to run for president, but you can't be stupid.
You can't be stupid.
Right?
I think I did say that. Yeah,
it was something along those lines.
Yeah, I think that said something.
And it makes sense because
because an idiot does dumb things and makes crazy decisions and just goes for it sometimes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean they're stupid.
That doesn't mean they're stupid. Right, exactly. Right. And doing something as wild and stressful and just time-consuming as running for president kind of qualifies you as an idiot. Yeah. In a sense. So
I would say so.
I think I probably did say that.
Well, I agree with you regardless. So.
Yeah. And I think that's why, again, why I think the president doesn't do as much as we think he does. And it's because of the fact that it's a job that is so stressful and requires so much. And there is such a big staff. We know there's a staff. Like, we know it's not just him living in the White House.
Yeah,
you know?
Massive.
We know he has all these all this stuff.
Yeah.
And that just goes to show you that the job isn't, shouldn't fall on one person. So why do we make it fall on one person? Why don't we just have? Because we have our Supreme Court judges is just 10 or so, right?
There's 9.
There's 9. Okay.
So there's never a.
Exactly.
There's always a majority, basically.
So why don't we just have that be the top? Why isn't, or hell, even bring it down to 5, like a Fab 5.
Yeah.
Or a Superior 7.
The US 6. Or the US 7.
The United States 7. That's
the 7.
That's an odd number, and it's like you would then
that would be some sick photo shoots, dude.
Of course.
The 7.
You could do a whole Justice League outfit thing.
Lightning in the background. Yeah. They're all posing for
you.
And
imagine the diverse amount of opinions you can get in with 7 people.
Yeah.
Like the cast you could build of your 7, if you're saying you yourself.
Yeah.
You would choose 6 running mates to go on this journey to become the United States 7. I just think that would be a way better idea. Imagine voting for who am I picking? Do I vote for the Avengers or do I vote for the Justice League?
Yeah.
It'd be like that. You'd just have these teams, and you'd know that they were doing the job together because there were multiple of them, and they all had their little specialties that they, this one was good at foreign policy, this one was good at, budgeting, this one was good at just all that kind of shit. I just think it would give me more confidence.
Yeah. I think
in terms of knowing the person that is plastered on the posters is the person actually doing the work.
I think what you're describing is the cabinet.
Yeah, exactly.
Without a president.
Without a president.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, it's definitely I think it's a good idea. I don't know. I don't know the logistics of any of that, and
I mean, hell, we could do that, or there's always my other option, which I've always loved, which is just holy shit. Imagine you're in a classroom and you're voting between two people to be class president, and you say, "All right, class, close your eyes, raise your hands." And that happens. Raise your hands for her, raise your hands for him.
Yep.
Everybody raise their hands, votes.
Yeah.
You count the class. You don't say, "Oh, this table group here has 5 desks. So this is going to mean it counts for 1 whole vote." But this table group here only has 3 desks.
Yeah.
So that's going to be half a vote. Yeah. No. You just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, she has 10 votes. He has 9 votes.
Yeah.
She wins.
Yeah.
It's that easy. Same thing applies. You just take the United States. You just calculate everybody's votes. And then you just say, "Oh, he got this many votes. She got this many votes."
Yeah.
He wins.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not even me, like, coming from a point of, like, "Oh, I hate George Bush. I wish Al Gore would have won.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I hate Donald Trump. I wish Hillary Clinton would have won." Though that's besides the point.
Mm-hmm.
What I don't get is how in the beginning of our democracy were we not smart enough to understand that we are all one United States of America, all choosing one leader.
Mm-hmm.
So why wouldn't each of our votes count as one person? Because we are one. And I
totally get what you're saying.
And again, you know
can
what?
tell you
I think
why.
it falls on racism, on the whole on
I
the
was
slavery.
Just about to say,
yeah,
we were idiots back then, dude.
and we had the whole
The 3/5
compromise.
But that was on voting. I don't know if.
There you go again. Why?
Yeah, I mean, we were idiots back
why
then.
America, has a terrible, awful history, a bad decision-making history. It sounds like that's true. No, we fucked up big time, and that goes in the fact of when you ask that question of, "Oh, why isn't every individual's vote counted as an individual's vote?"
Yeah.
Because we used to be racist.
Yeah.
Well, shit. Fuck.
Yeah, and I think, like,
and wait, we still are racist.
Yeah, people get absolutely. People get too wrapped up into, like, these American laws and ideas that have been with us since the beginning. And, like, yeah, I agree that we have these fundamental values and we have the our amendments and all these things that protect us. But I gotta say, it is crippling at times when we can't make change because our founders made a law back in the day. Just because our founders made it doesn't mean it's correct, right? And it has to do with the argument of, like, the gun rights, right? The Second Amendment and stuff like that. It's like, okay, yeah, like, everyone, if we truly believe that everyone should have a gun, right? Or that everyone has the right to have a gun, right?
Before we dive into the gun topic, let me just see what time we're at, because, like, there's a lot to this.
Okay, yeah. I don't think we've hit more than 30 minutes. Okay, we're trying to be careful, guys, because Frank doesn't have a lot of storage on his laptop. He's been doing a lot of short films, so yeah. We got to be careful, or else it's gonna end abruptly.
Yeah, we want to have an ending.
Yeah, exactly. So if we truly believe that as a nation, and I have no problem with that everyone should be able to right to bear arms, right? Back in the day, though, like and this isn't like to be in a dismissive argument or an anecdotal evidence, but back in the day, like, the rifles then, you had to load individual bullets, put gunpowder in the rifle, and then light the igniter and then push it down as for the trigger, right?
Oh, yeah. It's
completely different nowadays.
Yeah.
And so to say that people, to say that we should be selling assault rifles, it's like, God, Jesus Christ, like, what? Like, you got to have some sense of where we are in terms of technology and how dangerous these weapons are. Like, and I get it. People like their guns. I get it, and
people.
I'm not here
like
to say
their guns.
I'm not here to say that.
I have a lot of friends who like guns.
Yeah, and I'm not here to say that
I like
is
Call
wrong
of Duty.
or right. I love Call of Duty,
but I don't like guns.
I'm not a gun person myself.
I'm not a gun guy.
However, I will say this though.
Zombie apocalypse, I'm arming up.
All right,
let's bet it.
We're getting into the gun thing right now. Okay?
No, all I'm just saying, like, zombie apocalypse, obviously.
Well, now I gotta make sure my point is heard, because I'm getting riled up about it.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
So no, you didn't. It's fine. So I tell you what, though, if I start a family, I'm for sure getting a handgun. Like 100%, dude. 1,000%. Do you know why?
See how quickly things change.
Well, I didn't finish my point first, which was I don't think that I'm not saying that people shouldn't be allowed to have guns or they should be allowed to have guns. I'm just saying that you need to have a perspective on these laws in terms of the current times, not, hey, California used to have 100 people back in the day, and that's why we have the electoral college or blah, 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 whatever your reasoning is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, in terms of guns and why I just said that I'm definitely getting a pistol. And I'll just leave it at this, all right? I'm not going to be the dad that his daughter dies at like a carnival because of some fucking mass shooter who gets his guns illegally or something like that. Like, my family's not going out like that. Hell no. Hell no. Ryan. So I'll say this, okay? I'm all for not getting a gun. I'm all for giving my gun away if I get one in the future. But we got to get the guns off the streets. We got to get all these things regulated because I'm strapping up, bro. I'll die myself. Someone can shoot me. I don't care, right? But if I start a family, hell no. I'm strapping, bro. I'm not fucking around.
Dude, I'm
not letting my daughter die because of some fucking crazy dude who got a gun off the black market.
No, dude, I got you,
hell
bro.
No.
I got you. But it's so funny. I mean, it's funny. The reason why I'm laughing, and we're talking about a serious thing, I'm laughing because of the difference between Ryan and my scenarios of when we're strapping up.
Oh, you know, like
because I'm like thinking that there's a better chance that I'll experience a zombie apocalypse than start a family. That's the zone I'm in right now. Okay, I'm not going to explain myself to the listeners. Okay, I don't need to explain myself. Ryan already gets Ryan knows where I'm coming from.
I get you, dog.
But that's where I'm at right now, and that's funny to me that like my thoughts are like, when am I strapping up? Oh yeah, zombie apocalypse stuff. And then Ryan's like, when am I strapping up? Oh, when I'm protecting my family. Like, duh. I mean, duh. Like, how am I not jumping there? It's funny though. But yeah, you're right. And I think of this Key and Peele sketch where they go back in time to when they were, making the Second Amendment.
Yeah.
And Key and Peele step out of this time machine with automatic weapons.
Okay.
Basically saying, hey, this is what you're agreeing to. And they're just start shooting him. And then the guys holding their muskets are like, interesting. Because really, in reality, a musket, I mean, you could bring a knife to a musket fight. If you're breaking into someone's house and they're guarding their house with a musket, you can do like a little bob weave,
And those guns were incredibly inaccurate.
Oh yeah,
I mean, you
big
would
time.
shoot, and
they would do some damage if they hit you.
Oh
though.
Yeah, they were rough.
Those metal,
they were
those
literally
just balls.
Yeah,
just go through you, just land somewhere,
were brutal.
Stay somewhere.
And they were balls because the gunpowder was not in the actual bullet, right? With modern bullets,
it was
you have the casing which has the gunpowder in it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When you pull the trigger, it squishes the casing so the gunpowder falls out and then ignites it, and then that's why you don't have to load gunpowder in every single time. Yeah.
And that's why you're just firing off shots like willy-nilly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to stay on the topic of comedy in this situation, Joe Rogan has a great bit about it too, where he's talking about how we're just so ignorant to this idea, right? And he's like, if George Washington was here today and he saw modern times and we told him about how we respect the Bill of Rights and the Constitution and all this stuff, and we've kept it the same for this many years, he would freak the fuck out and say, wait, you didn't change any shit? I mean, he does it way better, but like, it's like so true.
It is.
It's like if they were here today, they'd be like, bro, this wasn't the idea. Like, you're supposed to change things as they go along.
I mean, say what you want. Like George Washington, a racist slave owner, but as our first president, he does represent this idea that we were always supposed to be changing. And that's because he's the first leader of this new nation that breaks off from the king. And he is given the opportunity to become our new king.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, no. I fought for change. We're changing shit up.
Yeah.
I'm stepping down. We got a new leader. Right there. That's a prime example. Always be changing. Mm-hmm. Always be adapting. Mm-hmm. So I think Joe Rogan's 100% right.
You mean when he stepped down the presidency?
Is that when George Washington decided not to, be president for his whole life.
Right.
That was the indicator of why that Joe Rogan joke makes sense, in that he would come back and be like, why haven't you changed shit?
Right,
Because I was all about change.
Right.
So
it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point. Yeah, dude. Fuck, man.
Yeah, that's just one of the... And then free speech is also interesting.
We just got so many issues. It's like, it's so hard not to focus on them and talk about them. It's like...
Yeah.
It's like, we doing this podcast, and it's like, I'm with, like, my best friend. It's like... Yeah. Fuck. Do we really just want to talk about all these, like, negative issues?
I mean, it's just right now we're in a time.
It's just a crazy time.
It's just
right? Like, tell me I'm not crazy about
No,
this.
dude. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to be positive. It's hard to be new, to be freshly positive. Like, I could get positive about some throwback stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I watched Shutter Island today because it was leaving HBO. It was my third watch of that movie.
Wow.
I love that movie. It's actually the only Martin Scorsese movie that didn't get any Academy Award nominations. Quite interesting. But this is what I'm saying, is like, I could, like, there's positives to talk about, but it almost feels as if there's no new positives.
I completely agree.
It's just like reminiscing. It's just like it's almost as if the world has kind of ended in a positive sense.
Yeah.
There's no like, hey, remember that time? No, I mean, like, you remember Right Now? Remember when Right Now was fucking awesome?
Yeah.
Not really, because Right Now is like on pause. You know what I'm saying?
You're so right, dude. You're so right. Because, like, let me just give you an example of when I open my phone and I open Instagram, right?
Yeah.
First thing I see is like a video of the officers who killed Elijah McClain, right? I see that. I see more protests going on. I see Donald Trump post a video where a man says white power. I'm scrolling through and I'm getting all this, man. And then I'm seeing all this Me Too stuff. Shane Dawson.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Jokes around, jerks off about, what's her name?
Willow Smith.
Willow Smith. I was gonna say Willis.
Dude.
Willow Smith.
Yeah, I want to talk about Shane Dawson.
What the fuck is happening? And then coronavirus, of course. And then United States has 1,000 new cases a minute.
100,000
it's
new
like,
cases.
What the fuck, dude?
A day.
100,000 cases a day. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, what is happening?
Dude, I always hated that Shane Dawson guy.
Me too. I never liked him.
And you know what's so funny to me?
I never liked him.
I remember, like,
honestly,
being like so young and like first getting into YouTube. Like I remember like being into YouTube like when it first came out. Like I remember like watching like, and he was one of like the earliest guys.
Him and like
him and Smosh.
Him, Smosh, and then what was that guy that used to do a super super high pitched voice? Do you remember him?
Fuck, dude, I know.
Ted. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh my god, I know the guy with the bangs who would cover. Bangs. Yeah, he had the Ned. I think it was Ned.
Ned.
I think it was Ned.
Ned.
Jacob will know. Jacob will know.
Ned.
Jacob will know, but I'm pretty sure it's Ned. But
he used to do like a super high pitched voice, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
But that was like the prime, like that was like the beginning, like some of the first like big creators on YouTube.
Yeah,
and I always remember like just being so annoyed by Shane Dawson, and
I never liked him.
I just like, God, I hate this guy.
I was a big Smosh guy.
And I was a big Smosh guy too. Yeah. And I remember that, and that's when I kind of like first saw Shane Dawson, because he like had some sort of like thing where he like appeared in a video or something.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is this guy?
And that
punch
Asian
him in the
guy,
face. Oh, the Asian guy was funny.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name was either, but I know exactly who you're talking.
He's actually controversial now that I'm thinking about it. It's Niga Higa. Niga Higa. I think that's what he went by.
That is what he went by.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that guy. Yeah, that is what he went by. Yeah, he stopped. When did he stop posting? He was one of the early ones too.
Is he stopping posting?
Dude, I feel
like once you get that big, you never stop.
True.
Except for that Ted guy, because I think he's gone.
You mean
not
Ned?
Ted, bro.
You Ned?
Okay.
It's Ned. Yeah, I think it's
definitely
Ned.
Ned.
But yeah, no. All I'm saying is like I always knew Shane Dawson was a fuck, and
yeah, I didn't like him.
And the stuff that's coming out about him now is like,
I mean, he said some disgusting stuff, dude. Like there's clips about. Ugh, God, see, now we're getting into it, but.
Oh, I mean, he's done nasty stuff.
He's said some really pedophilic, if that's a word. He said some very
like he's done this. He did
kids.
A creepy thing where like he interviewed like a little girl about sex or something really creepy.
He talked to his nephew about blowjobs.
Yeah, something. Yeah, and he like tweeted about it and tweeted about being proud about it. Like, oh, I just had a long conversation with, my nephew about blowjobs or something like that. And it's just so. To me, it's like,
this is what happened.
When has that ever been funny?
It's never been funny. That's the thing.
Or like when have you ever thought like tweeting that was when has that ever been a good idea?
I really don't think that was ever a good idea. Or even acceptable. Like that was never.
Yeah.
Like that was never. It's just because it's probably because cancel culture wasn't a thing back then. Nowadays, like, because that was all like way old school stuff, like completely unacceptable, right?
Yeah, maybe I think it was the general idea. You know what?
The internet just wasn't. They weren't as bandwagony where like you did something, and like rightfully so in this case, in a lot of the cases.
Yeah, and I think the general vibe of the internet was what are we at?
41.
Okay. I you know how like you have
We're at
like
23 gigs, I think. So we got plenty of time.
Yeah,
actually.
like early in there were times where all this stuff is dug up. Most of the time, the cancel culture, it's old stuff coming back up, resurfacing.
Yeah.
And I think in the early days of just apps and social media and the internet in general, there was the vibe of this space is just as free and forgetting as my own thoughts.
Yeah.
Or what I just said to you in the car.
Yeah.
And I think that was the attitude. So there's never
a sense of accountability on the internet.
Or a sense of like, let me think what I'm typing before I type it out and tweet it,
Yeah. No, I totally get you.
So, yeah. And I think just in recent years with, the Snowden and all that stuff coming up, people putting tape on their webcams and all that shit, that has come hand in hand with cancel culture.
Yeah. I think you're right.
And people realizing, oh shit, everything I do is
I have to take accountability for
it. Everything I do is being
and
is kept
past, right?
like me fucking putting on Facebook in a relationship when I tried to change the status, but I fucking typed in the status.
Frank posted in a relationship
like
instead of
I
actually
typed in the status bar. Yeah, because I thought this changing your relationship status was literally typing in the status bar what you wanted it to say.
You got all the engineers on the back end reading all the statuses, like, oh, this guy switches status over.
Imagine if that's how it worked though, because you have like your name and you have like all the things that describe you.
Yeah.
You could just put the status and be like. You could just put any descriptor you want. Super buff, handsome, tall, 6'1", and like that's a whole fucking thing under your name.
Hot dog legs.
Yeah, hot dog legs. Yeah. No, yeah. So.
But I think in terms of cancel culture, like, I make fun of it at times, and I sometimes it is very toxic. Mm-hmm. But actually, I think that it's good. I think that it's good in moderation. So a lot of things that are getting canceled should be canceled, right?
Yes.
In terms of like Shane Dawson, like all these Me Too people. Give me another example so I don't look like an idiot, and I only have two.
Chris D'Elia. Yeah, that falls under the umbrella of Me Too. Syndicate. Yeah, these are all Me Too. Yeah. Kevin Spacey. I mean, he's one of the Harvey Weinstein. I mean, the ones.
Yeah, a lot of people have gotten canceled. And a lot of them rightfully so, right? But then we can get into like hazy things where like, they say something like 10 years ago and it's actually not that bad. It just sort of doesn't fit into
it's not
the standards of today.
My biggest,
and I wish I could think of one off the top of my head, but I really can't right now.
The biggest one that comes to my mind every time I think of the one time that cancel culture was kind of a bummer for me was when Kevin Hart was selected to host the Oscars. So he gets he gets selected to host the Oscars, and then he gets canceled with these old tweets that people resurface of him joking about how if his son wanted a dollhouse, he would take the dollhouse and smash it over his head to cure the gay, or to get the gay away, or something like that. Basically saying like he's gonna buy his son a dollhouse and then smash it over his head to make sure he's not gay.
Okay, yeah.
And there were a couple of tweets along those lines, just like homophobic jokes about preventing his son from being gay.
Yeah.
And they were like 10 or 9 years old. Like I'm pretty sure they were from like 08 or 09, like right at the beginning of Kevin Hart's comedy career. And he didn't apologize for him. He said I'm not going to apologize. Like the Academy wanted him to apologize.
Yeah.
And he said, no, I'm not doing that. Because like as a comedian, I think I can make jokes and have them not sit as well a decade later.
Right.
And be okay with that.
Right.
And so he didn't host the Oscars.
Yep.
And since that moment, the Oscars haven't had a host. So like they didn't find a host to replace him, and they just haven't been doing hosted shows.
What was this?
This, I'm pretty sure, I think they've only done one show without a host. I know they've done at least one show without a host, and I'm pretty sure that was the show which Kevin Hart was supposed to host, and then they go no host, and this Oscars that was supposed to happen at the beginning of 2021, but has been pushed back with the coronavirus because all the movies are getting delayed. That is also planned with no host as well. So it's almost as if they've just said,
no.
I feel like if we pick a host, they'll get canceled.
That's a good example. That's a good example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? Let's close on an example of cancel culture catapulting the person into greater success. The one example I can think of there is James Gunn. He got canceled.
Who's this guy?
He is the writer and director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and 2.
I remember this.
He got canceled and fired off of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. He was in the process of writing it. And he got fired because of old tweets that resurfaced about him joking about pedophilia.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, he gets fired, and then a petition starts to have him rehired.
Mm-hmm.
It's going for a while. And during this petition, and during his limbo of, being fired from a movie he was writing, he gets hired to write and direct, well, don't quote me on the right part, but I know he gets hired to direct The Suicide Squad, which is like the sort of sequel / reboot to the 2016 Suicide Squad. So he gets hired to direct that. And then a few months later, the petition works, and he gets hired back to do Guardians 3 and finish the script. And that right there was just, I guess, the luck of DC being so desperate that they saw this James Gunn guy who took
getting a fat paycheck over here
from Warner Brothers, and he's getting a fat paycheck from Disney.
And the same paycheck he was getting before.
Yeah, exactly.
Twice the work, but hey.
Twice the work, but I mean, come on, he gets to do.
I mean, he did it, so.
Yeah, and it's like.
That is a perfect example.
It's the best example.
But I remember that situation. Yeah. I don't know the exact phrase and stuff like that, but I remember you telling me and me thinking at that time, like, well, like, why? That's not to say that his jokes aren't a big deal.
Yeah.
But, like, they weren't, like, really, really bad jokes, Like, it's just how Kevin Hart was saying, like, hey, if I make a joke 10 years ago, I really shouldn't be held accountable for it.
Yeah.
Now because I'm a comedian and comedians make jokes, risky, things like that.
Yeah.
And this is going to sound controversial, but I really do think you can joke about everything.
Yeah, I mean, I do.
You have to do it correctly.
Oh yeah, you have to be in the right space.
And tweeting about something,
you have to know your audience. Tweeting about something is not a good idea. Not a good idea. It's a terrible way
because there's no context. There's no
context.
Language. There's no.
It's just words. It's to the entire world.
Exactly.
There's.
So I get that for sure. Don't tweet and make jokes because
only tweet jokes that you know are like just a solid, clean dad joke. You know, something like that. Just go for that. But don't be trying out new shit, okay? Because you don't have a controlled audience.
You know how comedians will like go to, nightclubs or whatever, and they'll practice basically.
Yeah,
right? Like they don't just show up at a massive show, right? Like you.
Yeah, they
don't
just record an hour set.
You work out.
They work out material. Yeah, exactly.
And that's why like it's rude to record comedians, because like they're gonna reuse the material,
or change it up, or they don't like it,
right?
Yeah.
Or it wasn't good, right? They're working it out. Twitter's not a place where you work out material.
No.
Let's just put it that way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, hey, this will be funny. Let me try it. Yeah.
Let me see what everybody thinks about this.
Slow down, man.
Yeah. Like just you thought about it. You can write it down and then just like pull it out of your pocket and look at it at your next little group hangout with your friends that will laugh at it.
Try
and read it and be like, oh, that was funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So just watch what you tweet. And
watch what you tweet. Coronavirus is not over, people.
Yeah, it's not over, unfortunately.
But we're at the height of the outbreak in the United States, so everyone
please
take
stay
it seriously.
safe.
Wear your mask.
Wear a mask. If you don't wear a mask, understand you're saying fuck you to yourself and everybody, and just be cool with that, because I'm cool with it. I mean, I'm cool with you being cool with it. I mean, I'm not going to do it.
We're all tired of this
But
situation.
I just want you to understand what you're doing.
We're all tired of this situation.
Love you for
I'm trying to get out of this. I'm trying to stop this quarantine shit.
Yeah, dude. Right there with you, man.
Let's just all do our part and let this pass.
All right.
All right, everyone.
Episode 25.
Signing off.
Coming to an end.
Thank you.